Do I need these?
No, you don't. That's fine. How did the paddle go Saturday? Real good. I know John was here, we were a little worried about the weather, but
The weather was perfect and the water wasn't high, and then those people had to be rescued over in Alapaha.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
Because the water came up, you know, and now the water in the Little River is high, so
Yeah,
it was perfect, yeah. All that water from Tifton comes down.
I know.
Comes down.
Yeah, I know. This is the basin of it right here, so it's just. I know I talked to the mayor about trying to talk about retention ponds north of here and all that kind of stuff, and that's needed.
And in the cities that have a certain population, they have to. Tifton isn't big enough, so they don't have to.
Right. Yeah. But it's needed. It's needed. So.
Economic specialist will provide the outlook on the Metro Valdosta area, Georgia, and the nation. For more on these WVGA news stories, visit ValdostaToday.com.
WVGA Lakeland, Valdosta news at the top and bottom of every hour. This is News Talk 105.9 WVGA. You're listening to South Georgia's #1 local show, The Morning Drive with Chris Beckham on News Talk 105.9 WVGA.
All right, back in the morning drive on this Wednesday morning, brought to you by Valdosta Toyota, Southern Vein, and Laser Center. And our friends at Preferred Rental Company, hope you join us tomorrow. We'll have folks on from the city of Valdosta. I believe it will be Mayor John Gale to preview tomorrow's city council meeting. Also, Corey Henderson will be here tomorrow to talk about the reverse draw to benefit St. John's School. And also, John Eunice will be here to talk about the very successful blood drive we had in December. And also, Grilling for James to benefit the James Eunice Scholarship Fund. And also, Liza McCall will be with us on Friday to talk about some legislation that could be important for the food bank here in Valdosta, which is a wonderful effort that a lot of people put a lot of work into. So we'll welcome her on Friday. Glad to have in studio with us this morning Gretchen Quarterman talking about the South Georgia Growing Local Conference, which is coming up. And Gretchen, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good to see you. This has really turned into a thing.
This has turned into a thing.
Yeah.
It has.
The South Georgia Growing Local Conference, the 6th year you guys have had it. Just to mark your calendar, Saturday, February the 6th, it'll be at the Pine Grove Middle School, correct?
Correct.
As I'm looking over all the speakers that you got coming in, Gretchen, I'm sure a lot of people who say, ooh, can I hear them all? And that would be physically impossible, but I would bring a team of people because there's so much good information here.
There are a lot of speakers. We're going to have 6 tracks, so if you wanted to have somebody to go to every track, you'd have to have 6 people to come in your group and then share amongst yourselves.
That's right. But the thing that strikes me is the variety, and that's what you've always had. So many different people talking about so many different topics, but all kind of indigenous to South Georgia.
Well, indeed. When this conference started 6 years ago, we just had 2 tracks, and one was about cooking, and one was about growing, and pest control and fertilizing, and how to have your garden be successful in the special conditions of South Georgia and North Florida. Because our conditions here are different than they are in North Georgia or on the coast or in farther south in Florida where it never freezes. We sort of have a very special environment here, and so this conference is geared towards that.
Yeah, I do want to hit on some of these because you got folks who are coming from really all around, and some repeat folks who are coming back, which is great.
Yeah, we have repeat talks because if you're just one person and you can only go to 4 talks in a day, and you didn't get to hear Dr. Dunkley talk about chickens, and you really want to start a backyard flock and you want to get to her talk, she comes every year. And then we have some new talks this year. We have Vanessa Flukas coming from the city of Valdosta to talk about some community resources that are available in Valdosta in terms of, where might we start community gardens and what does the city have available and what would the community need to provide.
Yeah, just to give you an example, and again, none of these are more important or better than the others because they're all just so different, but when we talk about things like composting with worms and soldier flies, things like you mentioned the chickens, raising rabbits, fermentation, essential oil, solar energy. I mean, there's such a breadth of subjects covered.
There's a wide variety, and some talks that we've had before we don't have this time. Maybe our speaker isn't available. Actually, we've had somebody talk about really raising goats. This time we're having Julia Shuchuk, who works at the RDC. She has Serenity Farms down in Florida, and she's going to be talking about making goat milk soap. But she has quite a large little goat flock down there. So the focus even within a topic might be different year to year.
Do you find that people who will come and sit in one of the sessions and listen, do they have some type of obviously there's an interest or they wouldn't be there, but some type of knowledge of it, or do they come in just saying, I am wide open and I want to take it all in?
Both.
Okay.
We have people who have come who say, I don't know anything about this and I want to get started. And then we have people who say, I want to talk to somebody because I'm having trouble and I need an expert to talk to. Composting and with worms and soldier flies, that's John Horton, and he's the resource officer down at the Clyattville School. And he has some soldier flies and worms down there that he shows the children how soil gets made and how the worms do that from eating up things, and his talk is really great, really great, and he is an expert.
And I'll bet all these are. So again, it's going to be 9 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Saturday, February the 6th at Pine Grove Middle. Here's the deal: you need to register ahead of time, and they've been gracious enough to extend that time until this week. I guess we can safely say.
Yeah, I would say we really need to tell the caterer by next week on Wednesday. So if I had somebody's registration by Monday, I'd be good.
Okay, and the couple of ways you can do this. You can register at okraparadisefarms.com, and you can see the link there on the website.
Yeah.
You can register. You can do credit card. You can send a check.
You can do a credit card, or if you want to write a check, there's a registration form that you can print out and mail in. I need to have that next week.
Yeah, so by the middle of next week, it's $40 for adults, $20 for seniors over 65, $15 for students ages 10 through college. And again, if you just want to, if you say there's only, I look at the schedule and there's just one thing that really interests me and I've got to go do something else, you can just come to the one thing, correct?
You can just come to the one thing.
I wouldn't waste the opportunity, but you can. You can. So.
Well, and the tracks are somewhat have a theme. So track number 1 has, starting out, we have a nutritionist talking about how when you're eating local foods, are you getting a balanced diet? Mm-hmm. If you're really trying to stick to things not coming from far away, how are you getting a balanced diet? Are you getting enough vitamins and minerals, protein? We're having, Gina Ford is going to talk about cooking with herbs and how herbs can add variety to you. If you just say, I'm only eating these vegetables, but that I'm growing locally, how can I add herbs to that to make more variety? Erica Griner's going to do a bread 101, and in her class we're hoping to send everybody home with a little loaf of bread that they're going to then rise at home and bake.
Oh, beautiful. I love that.
And Lori Freeman is an expert in fermentation, and fermentation is things like sauerkraut, but all root, I just discovered last year, all root vegetables can be fermented the same way that cabbage can. And I also started doing a fermented tomato sauce rather than doing a canned tomato sauce that you do in the pressure canner. So she has lots of knowledge about basic fermenting, how to make kombucha and things like that. So it's going to be fun.
You went through that very well, so let's go and do all the tracks. So I want people to hear all the things that are offered. Let's do track 2, which seems to deal more with animals, things like that.
Animals. Derek Dawson, who is works with the Ham and Eggs Show, which is actually coming up in February. He's going to talk about home cured meats. You can't sell your meats if you cure them at home, but if you get a nice hog leg and you want to turn that into a country cured ham, he's going to talk about how to do that, or how to do your own bacon at home. Dr. Claudia Dunkley from UGA is going to talk about backyard hens. She comes every year and does an excellent talk. Like I said, Julia's going to talk about making goat milk soaps. And the Perlas from 5 Farms in Tifton, they have a rabbit farm, and they're going to talk about raising rabbits and what they do on their farm, how to get started if you're interested in that.
The track 3, and this is really some kind of, it sounds kind of highfalutin stuff that you have to be able to do, but again, some ways that everybody can do that, I guess, is track 3.
Well, lesser known crops for the coastal plain. Dr. Brett Wagenhorst from Tifton, I have been to his little, he calls it a farmlet. It is a beautiful, beautiful, varied farm. And he grows all different kind of unusual things. He grows loofahs, and he has a guava tree, and he has a little pomegranate orchard. So he's going to talk about some of the things which people don't usually think about growing in South Georgia, but you can successfully grow. And he does a very good talk. John Horton again with composting with worms and soldier flies. And then tools of the trade. The Hagen Homestead has been involved all 3 years. They're CSA up in Barron County near Ray City. And they have every year sort of changed what they're doing and gotten more efficient. And Christine is going to talk about some of the things that they've learned that's made their life in the garden much easier. And they want people like to not make the mistakes they made. Don't bother doing that. That doesn't work. So
Right.
just go. Don't use a hole like that. Use a hole like this because it's so much easier. So she's going to talk about tips.
Very good. Track 4, you mentioned that Vanessa's going to be talking about community resources. The theme of this seems to be that kind of thing, things that are in the community that people can take advantage of.
Yes, things that people can take advantage of. And then also, I don't have confirmed yet, but I'm hoping that Tracy Gozier from the health department, I've talked to her, don't have the last reconfirmation, we'll talk about some health department programs that are available in the
Okay.
community. And I have a woman from Atlanta that I just confirmed yesterday, and she's going to talk about the eradication of food deserts and what can we do as a community to identify our food deserts, and then what can we do to make them go away, either by getting community gardens or even neighborhood gardens in place where people can get access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
And when you say food desert, can you define
A food
that?
desert is a place where there's not a grocery store available within a walking distance, so within a mile, that people don't have access to grocery. And on the east side of Valdosta, we have that, and on the south side too. There are places where people cannot easily walk to a grocery store.
There you go. Also, Joshua Dawson as well.
Josh Dawson is our county extension agent, and he's going to talk about the project that the Master Gardeners have done. Actually, there'll be a lot of Master Gardeners here. This is my Master Gardener project. He's going to talk about the project that the Master Gardeners have done in the Valdosta City Schools.
Okay.
They have, Annie Barbas has installed in all of the elementary and middle schools in the city of Valdosta a garden and an orchard.
Love it.
She got a grant, and just the gardeners went crazy these last 2 years, and so Josh is going to talk about that project and how parents of kids in the schools can get involved in those projects. So that's a community resource. This is my community track here.
Yeah.
How you can get involved at your child's school. If your child goes to school in the Valdosta City Schools, there's a garden there for you to get involved in.
And I'm fascinated by that because I hate to say most of the time, but I guess that's probably true. A lot of times that's the first time these kids ever see a garden or even know how it works.
The first garden that Annie ever started was at one of the schools on the south side, and it was just, I don't know how it is that she came to start it, but she did, and it had some blueberry bushes, and one of the stories that she tells is that a child came and she said, well, do you like blueberries because they're ready on the bush? And the child said, no, I don't. She said, well, did you ever have one? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So for some children it is the first time that
Yeah.
they've seen a fruit or vegetable and that they've tried it.
Yeah. Also, a couple of others on that track as well.
Yes, there's a local buying club that's been started lately called Dirt Road Organics. It's Corey and Andrew Danner, and they started a club. And they're going to talk about the club and how they're supporting local farmers. So local farmers are selling products to them, and then they're doing all of the retail distribution.
Right.
So they're going to talk about why they started that and how it's working. They've been in business since July.
Wow. And then Feeding America.
America is going to talk about reducing waste. So when you're growing something in your garden and you say, oh, look, this one zucchini plant made more zucchini than I can eat, my family, all my friends, you can take it down to the food bank and they'll make sure that it gets to people who need it.
Absolutely. What a great option that is. Real quick, let's run through the last two tracks. Track 5.
Permaculture for a Better Tomorrow, Ben and Jennifer Veith, they're a young couple from up in Hahira, and they are going to talk about how you can design and maintain your garden so that it's producing something all the time.
Oh, good.
And one of the things that they particularly do is a herb spiral. So how to grow herbs so that there's always something growing in your garden.
Planting by the Moon.
Planting by the moon, your almanac is your friend. And so how the moon affects the tides is the same way that it affects the garden. So
Right.
whether plants are growing above the ground or below the ground, and Terry Davis is going to talk about using your almanac and planting by the moon.
Also urban farming.
Urban farming. Stuart Douglas, that sort of matches up with community resources. He's going to talk about cities that have urban gardens in them and farms in the cities.
Gotcha.
And then track 6, industrial farm and resource usage. Chris Miracle from Hamilton County is going to talk about some of the strip farming that's been going on down there and the pumping of the springs. It's a little worrisome in our area because water, so this has sort of a water
Yeah.
element to it. Crops can't grow without water, and if we don't take good care of our aquifer, if we pump it dry or pump it to a place where the water isn't good anymore.
Right.
Everyone will be affected. So he's going to talk about some of the strip farming that's going on down there. Mary Clement's going to talk about essential oils. John Quarterman's going to talk about solar energy, what you can do yourself to get solar. We have solar at our farm. We got it through the USDA. Farmers can get solar at a very affordable price. Regular people can get solar at an affordable price too, because this past year Georgia changed the law. And when that law changed, solar became affordable for everybody.
Start to see more and more of those solar farms pop up.
Oh yeah, because they can be financed now.
Yeah.
You don't have to put all the money up front. And then the last one is going to be rainwater collection and water stewardship. Marilyn Dye, she has a rain barrel, and she'll show you how to get a rain barrel and hook up your gutters and have water available for your garden without having to, use your water bill.
All fascinating stuff. South Georgia Growing Local Conference 2016 is Saturday, February the 6th. Registration, you need to be registered, I'm going to say by the end of this week, but if you can get it by Tuesday, Gretchen will be able to get you in. Again, $40 for adults, $20 for seniors over 65, $15 for students 10 to college age. OkraParadiseFarms.com. You can register there. I'll tell you what, if you are on Facebook with us at The Morning Drive with Chris Beckham on Facebook, we'll post a link to our Facebook page today as well, so you can get it there. And we know you're going to have a big crowd. You always do, and I think it's just growing and growing in popularity.
It is, and one of the things that's really happening is we're growing our local community, and people are meeting each other, and they're making networking, and they're saying, oh yeah, well I talked to, I'm like, oh, when did you meet them? Well, I met them at the conference.
Yeah.
So
And
it's really great.
Well, it's becoming such a big deal. You hear all the time about farm to table and how, people are, I was talking to somebody talking about agritourism, and, we don't think about it, but a lot of people who come to South Georgia, they just are so unaware of what's down here and what can be done, and it's a big deal.
Well, and one of the things with Dirt Road Organics was when they first started, they said, we want to support the local farmers, and then there were only a few farmers selling to them, and then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of farmers so they're selling cheeses from the local sweetgrass, and they're getting greens from over in Waycross. So many local things, so we don't have to get our food from California. It's
That's
really
right.
Great.
Listen, my wife and I get one of those boxes every week and during the season, and what it makes you do is, okay, how can I cook this? Because you get so many different things. It's almost like getting a Christmas present every week because there's different things in there. It's not the same. You say, okay, how can we use this? And then you find yourself cooking better, healthier, the whole 9 yards.
Well, and that's why the class on using your herbs. When you buy some herbs, or maybe you say, I don't know what to do with that herb,
Right.
and so her class on herbs will give some tips on that.
It's good stuff. Gretchen, thanks for putting this together. I know it's a lot of work to kind of bring all these folks to one day at one time, but it's going to be much appreciated, and I think you have a big crowd. So.
Well, thank you very much. And also don't forget that there'll be breakfast and lunch here too. That's what your $40 is helping.
There you go. That's right. And that's why we need to know ahead of time. We got to find out how many people can eat that day. So again, OkraParadiseFarms.com. We'll post a link on our Facebook page as well. Mark the calendars for Saturday, February the 6th. Good gracious, that's 2 weeks from this Saturday. So go ahead and be ready to be there at Pine Grove Middle. Good to see you, Gretchen.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
We'll take a break and come right back. We'll have another look at your chilly Wednesday forecast when we come back right after this, and more of the Morning Drive on News Talk 105.9. This is WVGA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Y'all post that link right after the show's over. And,